Alrighty, hey, you're tuned in to the Real Recognized Real Talk Radio Show with Lynette and Franchella. We have a caller already on the line.
We just started. What's up? What's up? What's up? Who's on the line? Y'all stalker?
They scared of us. I'm convinced. I'm so convinced.
Yes.
Is that my wife?
Whoever you are, thank you for calling in.
Yes. We on the line because I see it's still lit.
And we have other guests here. Do you have a question for any of our guests? Or you just like to hear us talk?
Mm-hmm. Maybe you.
Breathe, do something.
Yeah. So we gonna hang up with you, caller, but we appreciate you. Stay tuned. Yeah. Stay tuned in. Thank you.
Radio.
That was scam likely.
Anyway, thank you guys. Welcome to the Real Recognized Real Talk Radio Show. I'm your girl Franchella, and to my left I got
Lynette.
Hey. So once again, as always, as usual, we have some fabulous people here in the studio at Philly Hott Radio. I'm so excited. I'm ready to hear what's going on in their lives. We try to, bring the people in so you can see what's going on here in Philadelphia.
Yes.
But we want to thank everybody from tuning in all over the world, the tri-state area. We appreciate you guys, and just keep tuning in. And hey, this is where it's at.
This is where it's at.
This is where
y'all,
it's at.
Y'all tuned into the right radio station.
Right. So we're not going to do no hood news today, but we might do something later in case they're a little boring. We're not sure what's going to go down. So we're going to get right.
We got some dope.
Yeah, we got some dope people.
Yes,
we do.
in the
Of course.
studio today.
So,
y'all know how
I'm putting the pressure on them. That's what I'm doing.
I'm a little nervous. See if it was gonna work for
Right. So without
further ado, our first guest today is Reed Green, who is the CEO and founder of the charitable organization Lady Declare, which is an organization that was developed to empower women to become dominant members of our society through evoking, guiding, and encouraging positive outcomes. So at first, Reed was discouraged from pursuing this vision after people told her that her vision wasn't anything new or different. So out of fear, she placed her passion on hold, and she just placed her passion on hold. Bear with me, y'all. So, but after hearing her firstborn say, "Mommy, all you have to do is dream," it changed her life forever. So she began to work towards pursuing her dream. So over 11 years ago, she started putting action into place where she moved from being a stage manager, a set designer, owner of an event planning company, case manager, educator, foster care worker, cosmetologist, a spa owner, you name it, executive director. She had many jobs as I had, y'all.
How many jobs you got?
To name a few, and just to become the founder of what is now known as Lady Declare.
Yes.
So Reed is a single mother. She's a transformational speaker, a mentor who inspires many, and is determined to be used as a vessel to change lives.
Yes.
So welcome,
awesome.
Reed, to the show.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Yes.
So welcome to the show. So tell us a little bit about Lady Declare.
Besides what she just said, you can leave now. That's what I'm talking about. These intros are like the bomb. Like, we don't got nothing to talk about no more.
I talked about her. Now she got to tell us about her business.
Yes.
Well, Lady Declare actually stands for Lead in the Destiny I Declare. Back in 2012, I was sitting at my desk where I was making six figures, and I actually hated my job. I loved what I was doing, but I felt closed in. A lot of times people say take the lid off the box, but I needed to step out of the box. The box was confining me, and I didn't know what to do next. While there was nowhere else to go, there was no other position besides owning the business, and I didn't necessarily want to own the business, so I needed to figure out what was my next move. I knew I wanted to do something bigger than what I was doing, but I didn't know what it was. I was fragmented. I have tried so many different things. I did college. Everybody was saying, well, go back and do something else in college. And I was like, what was there next to do? I really didn't know what to do. I knew that I was called, but I didn't know what it was called to do. I didn't want to be nobody's pastor. I enjoyed doing me. I was a rebel. My family always said, stay focused, and I didn't know what focus meant. At that time, I was just a mother of one. Now I have 2 children, and I didn't know what to do. So I began to really try to figure out what it was. And so 2014, I remember calling in to work sick, and I remember my secretary at the time said, are you coming back? And I said, I'll call you.
Wow.
And I never went back.
Wow.
And believe it or not, I thought that it was the most liberating thing, and it was at the time, but it ended up being the scariest thing ever.
Of course.
I thought that I was ready, and I thank God for it, but it was probably one of the craziest decisions I've ever made. Financially,
It was a faith
yes,
walk,
financially, I flipped my whole life, my whole family upside down. My family, my friends, everybody thought I lost my everlasting mind. To be truthful, at times I thought I did, and still
Right.
today I'm like, have you lost your mind?
Right.
If you don't go back and make $1,
Right.
because I always told people, and through that I learned so many different things about myself. One of the things is every morning I got to go outside and I stand on my balcony and I touch the earth. And people says, what does that mean? I take my shoes off and I stand on the balcony because I got to remember this world still exists and that I'm still moving. So with that means is that I still got work to do.
Right.
And so with that, so many different things evolved from it. I became a transformational speaker. I realized I was not a motivational speaker. I do not desire to motivate. There's a difference between motivating and transforming someone. Motivating is just pushing you. I realized that I wanted to pull. People say, what's the difference between a push and a pull? If I'm climbing up a mountain, there's a difference. If I'm climbing up the mountain, I cannot push you up the mountain because I'm going up.
Right.
So with that, in order for me to get you up there, I have to already have the harness around myself and I'm pulling.
Right.
So with that, I'm training you, teaching you, educating you how to do it.
Yes,
So I'm teaching you how to put the harness around yourself and pull
Pull
yourself.
yourself,
There's
absolutely.
a difference
It is a
between a push
difference.
and a pull. Motivation is when I push you.
Right.
And I only can push you but so far.
Right.
So that's where I realized, okay, I cannot. Parents, people can push you. I can push you to educate yourself. I can push you to go to college. I can push you to get a job. That's the motivation, but it stops at some point.
Exactly.
So that's how I became the transformational coach. And it was like, okay, so what do I do with that? So believe it or not, I kind of slipped into who I am. But Lady Declare came from a dark place. I was driving in my car, and I was crying. I hated what I was doing. And my little girl, who's now 21, well, she'll be 21, she said to me, Mom, all you got to do is dream. And I remember the tears was rolling down my face. I didn't want her to see. And I was just like, oh, my God. And I went home, and I wrote up Lady Declare. So that's how I became who I am.
Wow.
So
Awesome. That sound. Oh my God. I'm sitting here like.
She's not crying.
When they call me, I'm like, no, I'm not coming in. Okay. I'm just sick. I'll be in tomorrow. But that is phenomenal. I mean, for you to actually take that leap of faith, it's so much that I still personally don't know what I want to be when I grow up. I've been in healthcare for 35 years, and once again stuck in that box. I know my job from front to back, and it's just not challenging. It's not fun, and I'm just not in a lot of ways I'm aggressive, but when it comes to things like that, I'm very conservative, and I don't want to leave it only because why it is.
She wants to be a world
A
traveler.
what? Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, that's true.
I always tell people, you got to figure out
What's your passion?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I always say, what could you do if failure wasn't an option? That's
Right.
where I start off at.
Right.
When I sit with my client friends, I tell them, because they become my friend afterwards. Everybody
Right.
want to call my phone. And there's times where my executive director, I got to say, you know what? And she have become like my right hand with everything. Because even after I'm finished speaking at speaking engagements, I've come to a place where I only can speak to so many afterwards because I'm drained.
Right.
And
Yeah,
I used to always
absolutely.
say, why we got to pray for the pastor? The pastor's fine.
Oh,
but I
no.
get it now because I'm drained.
Right.
I'm physically drained after talking, to a group of people. I don't care if it's 5 people or 500. Afterwards, I really have to take time to
Yourself.
pour back into myself because everybody zaps you. They drain you. So I have to figure out, how do I fix that energy back in me because I'm giving so much.
Right.
And I always tell people, how if failure was not an option, what would it be? And I always say, who was your energy drainers?
Right.
And typically, you go back to yourself. You
Right.
fear you fear failure for yourself.
Right.
You know, and the biggest failure is you.
Right.
What's the worst thing you're going to do? Fail at it? Okay, get up and try again.
Right.
That's why I had so many
It's a
different
lesson,
jobs.
though. It's
Yeah.
always a lesson. And
I've tried so many different things, and I look back.
So
I've tried so many businesses, and they fail. That's the
Right.
truth.
Right.
You know, I've
Right.
tried so many different things, and I'm like, okay, now I'm dead broke. I guess I gotta go back and try this again.
Right.
But I gotta continue to do it.
No, absolutely, absolutely. And the thing of it is, like, you know, people sit there, they listen to you, and they're just inspired, and it's like, you know, you get to them, but you have to really instill in them that you have to do something once you leave this place. Once I'm gone, you know, don't forget about it. Don't let it sit on deaf ear. You know, do something about yourself. Start moving, because you talk about the push and the pull. So, you know, you can help pull them up, but if they pulling you down because they not pulling their weight,
Yeah.
you got to
Yeah.
let go. You
Yeah.
know, so they have to also help with getting up. You know,
Yeah.
to that.
It's funny because I tell, especially in my groups, I always tell them I'm the Harriet Tubman of the group. I say I'm very radical, so I come in with a shotgun.
Right.
And so I can point out right away if you're not ready to do it, and
Right.
I will kill you dead, because I cannot take dead weight with me.
Right,
So with that
absolutely.
being said, people don't understand how radical Harriet Tubman was. When she
Right.
came in and said, "Are you ready to be free?" And when people said they was hesitant, they wasn't sure. People thought that she just came and said, "Okay, y'all, let's go." And the ones that didn't want to go, she took them anyway. No, she shot you dead. You
Right.
cannot come with me because you dead weight, and you're gonna mess up the ones
That's
who,
right.
who did not want to come.
I totally
so,
believe in
So you
tough
go ahead
love.
and you kill them dead. So
Right.
that's what I do.
Exposure
So I'm leaving you.
therapy.
Yeah, I'm leaving you right where you at. I'm
Right.
not taking you with
That's
me.
right.
And it's not for everybody.
It's not.
Everybody's not ready to be transformed.
Right.
You know. So I gotta leave you where you at.
So what drives you to want to empower women?
I think the biggest thing is that we're in an oppressed state, and I know it sounds funny. Not that, and I'm very radical. Like I said, when it comes to color, I look at me being a black woman. You know, so I go back and I reach back when it comes to just being a woman in general. Not that men don't, because I do have client friends that are men as well. I take anybody that wants to move to the next level, but when it comes to women, especially, I can relate. You know, I know what it is to be a woman. I know what it is to come from a single household. I know what it is to be a single woman. So certain things that I naturally gravitate towards.
Right.
I'm not saying that I gravitate towards the broken, but I gravitate towards those who want to be healed.
Right.
So those are typically what comes to me, and it comes natural. One of the things is right now we're working on Queen Academy. Queen Academy came to me. I literally was asleep, and I woke up one day, and it said 10,000. And so right now, that's what my focus is, to reach 10,000 young
Wow.
women by the end of 2020. So right now, my biggest focus, I have two main campaigns that I'm working on. 21 Days of Habit, teaching individuals in general, males and females, how to break the habit. 21 Days of Habit is my master vision board class, and it's not necessarily by taking these little pieces of paper and putting it on the board, but actually seeing exactly what you want,
Right.
visually seeing and becoming what you want. The affirmation is really big,
Right.
to speak things into existence, and you don't even know that it's coming because you can
Exactly.
keep saying something, and then it does come.
Right.
But so that's for my adults as well as young people. But but Queen Academy focus on women in general, but especially the young people. And people say, well, why did you start with the young ones? Because I say there's a difference between being broken and bending. And when we start young, people say young people, they'll be okay, they'll get over it. No, but we manifest and we carry it into our adulthood.
Right.
So right now we're working on our first teen summit, which will be a tour that's going to start in Philadelphia. And my vision is to carry it as far as it can go until we reach 10,000. And right now we'll be at 800, and we started in March.
Wow.
So-
That's amazing.
So our goal is to get to 10,000 young women
Yeah.
by
You
the end
have
of
a
2020.
You have a summit coming up.
Yes, the 17th, this Saturday actually.
This Saturday.
Mhm.
Oh, amazing! That I mean,
so
you definitely
how do
not
people-
try. You speaking into existence, you're going to reach that
Yes,
10,000.
yes.
You're
Yes.
definitely going to reach the 10,000.
So, and it's actually because of sponsorships, that was our goal, to get as many sponsors to be able to pay for the event so it can be free. It
Right.
started off at $35 a ticket, but because of sponsorships, we made sure we hit the payment. I drove people crazy. My team drove people crazy. I was a hound. It was like Give me the money. No.
Please.
But because of sponsorships, because of people donating, the event is now totally free for any young woman between the ages of 13 and actually 13 to 18 was what we started off with, and now it's up to 21, and it's all young people. It's ran by young people, all entrepreneurs, anybody that wants to be just influenced to be in a space. Is a really great event. So if they would like to come, is at 19th and Rittenhouse at the Ethical Society Center, 1906. The hours are between 2 and 6. It's a total free event. All they have to do is register. If they go online to Lady Declare, which is spelled LADIDECLAR.org.
Right.
Wait a minute.
R-E.
Yes. LADIDECLARE.org. If they go online and they register, they can also go on Instagram at Lady Declare, and they can hit the ticket button or the website as well. And if they register, it's totally free. Parents are allowed to come out. We have vendors. All the vendors are 21 and under. We have an amazing fashion tribute that's going to be going on. We have 5 different acts by young women between the ages of 13 to 21.
Nice.
That's going to be there. Our panelists are all young women. I will be doing a transformational speaking piece, and then we do a talk back where they get to get close and personal. We talk about everything from relationship, sex, how to become entrepreneurs, and then they also have an opportunity to become a queen bee, part of the one of our to be part of Queen Academy themselves, because we have a summer intensity program, but we also do a year-round program where they get to get influenced and touched on up close and personal with myself. So there's a fitness program, there's a customer service piece, there's a business branding. They do transformational classes, so they can be able to do things. And I always say that you start from the grassroots up.
Right, absolutely. Well, that's
You're
wonderful.
doing
Yes,
amazing things. So we applaud you.
So yes,
Thank
please
you.
share
thank
it with
you
us.
Thank you
Yes.
for stepping out
No.
on faith and pursuing
Thank
your,
you.
Your career.
your purpose.
Yeah,
because
and share that
we
with us
need
if it's a
more.
flyer.
Okay.
So that we can post that and get
Okay.
more young people to come out to that, because that's
Absolutely.
definitely amazing.
Thank
and we
you.
want to thank you so much for. We didn't even have to
Yes.
ask her no questions.
So
See
how-
now,
but
the
how can
pressure
people
is
follow you?
on.
How
We
can
need-
people follow you? It was Lady Declare.
Yes,
so it's
Lady
Lady
Declare.
with an I, not a Y.
Yes, not a why.
Okay. See.
So thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
so
We
much.
appreciate it. So what we're going to do is we're going to play that real recognized real song one more time before we go into our next guest. All right, y'all. We'll be right back.
Too much? Oh, y'all need a
So welcome back, y'all. Welcome back. We had a short break to transition people in and transition them out. Oh, so wait, I gotta slide down. You know, she want to be seen. Can y'all look at her? Say hi. Oh man, that was amazing, right?
It was.
But
So
we have once again we have a lot of different of all walks of life. This is what makes the show, you know, phenomenal because we get all the best of the best, right?
Yes.
So who we have next?
So next up, we have Curtis Scarbro, who is an R&B singer who is a Philly native, y'all, from right here in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
So if you are ready for that classic feel of R&B music, then Curtis is sure to please, okay? With his unique sound that is brilliant and captivating. So Curtis is for sure an artist on the rise. Y'all hear me? He is a singer, a songwriter, a performer who models after his late father, who was also a singer and songwriter, who was passionate about his craft. So Curtis finds comfort in his writing, singing, and playing the piano, and wants to carry on his father's legacy through music. Officially, Curtis is his stage name. He learned to craft lyrics and play the piano at the age of 15 under the mentorship of Grammy award-winning producer, singer Edmund Clement. Y'all heard that last name right, Clement? Yeah, all in the family.
All family
Known
here.
as Eddie Hustle or Butter. Butter. Shout out to my cousin Eddie Hustle. Owner of Heavy Pen, who also won a Grammy in collaboration with his sister. I gotta put Nita on the map as well. Nita McLeod Clement, my cousin as well, brother and sister team, known as also as Nita Hits. So they both collaborated on writing and producing Usher's classic hit, "You Remind Me of a Girl That I Once Knew." In 2017, officially Curtis released his single, Paragraphs, which is also available now on SoundCloud and iTunes. So later during the show, you will be listening to an exclusive on a Real Recognized Real Talk Radio show on Philly Hot Radio.
So it's exclusive to y'all.
Exclusive. It's EP called No More Lies.
No more lies.
Officially, Curtis also collaborated with another one of my cousins, 8215, on a song titled Hard For Me, which is a banger.
Yeah.
Okay? It's a banger. Shout out to 80, my cousin.
215.
I am certain that your father is proud.
Absolutely.
So welcome officially, Curtis.
Welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
So right on to the question.
Yes.
So you mentioned that your father is a big inspiration to your music. Are there any other artists in the industry that are an inspiration as well?
For the most part, I'm pretty much inspired by everybody, but if I had to narrow it down, I would say definitely Usher is an inspiration because I feel like he just gets better with time. For the most part, Chris Brown is definitely innovative. Every
Breezy.
year, you
Shout
can
out to
always look
Breezy.
forward to Chris Brown bringing out some new music and just staying in his zone. And I'm also inspired by songwriters and producers as well. A guy named Rico Love is a big inspiration as a songwriter to me. I just, I gotten to the point to where every part of the music industry, whether it's artistry, songwriting, producing, I try to look at all of those people as inspirations because I do all of those things.
Right.
So, every single person that I name has been an ongoing influence in my life continually. So.
I sure wish we had a piano up in here.
Right? Play piano too. Do that.
Yes,
Okay.
at the age of 15. See, friends.
Wow. Nice. Nice.
So you learned to play the piano at the age of 15. So what was your first song that you learned how to play on the piano?
Well, it's a funny story. So in middle school, I met a guy named Joey, and pretty much he was the guy that just danced and did everything in middle school. And when I told him I knew how to sing, he was like, "Man, you know how to play the piano?" I was like, "Nah, I don't know how to play the piano." He said, "I'm gonna teach you how to play one song." He said, "Once you learn how to play this one song, you're gonna be good." I said, "All right, cool. What's the name of the song?" And he was like, "Can You Stand the Rain?"
Oh,
And I was like, "Oh, all right, okay." All right, so he started to play, and he taught me the chords and whatnot. And then once I played that song, I had to play it every single day. Every time I came home, "Can you stand the rain? Can you stand the rain?" To my mom just you're going to have to learn to play something else.
So is it an air thing?
Yeah,
With the
now
piano,
it's
is it an air thing?
Yeah, so
That's
now
what
literally if I
figured.
hear anything, I can play it. So it starts off with that foundation of learning that one song, and then over time, as you listen to different things, you'll be able to say like, oh, all right, that song right there isn't like the key of C or the key of F. But
I can play one song.
I can too. I can too.
Dun, 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 dun.
Like mine is close to that one. The first song I learned how to play is Pomp and Circumstance. Dun, 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 dun,
Yeah, it's
dun.
always
The graduation
it's always one
song.
song.
Right,
It's always, that's how it starts. It's always one song.
But mine was the finger. Dun, dun.
Oh yeah.
But,
Oh wow.
I ain't have all that down pat.
You gotta spread it out. You gotta spread it out.
One finger, you start with
Yeah, one finger.
Okay, so tell us a little bit more about your songs. So you have a song called Paragraphs.
Yeah.
You
yeah.
also have a song called No More Lies, which you will listen to. So what inspired you to write those songs? So I'm in the titles and things. So I
for the
think
most
they have
part-
meaning. So tell
Okay,
us.
so Paragraphs is it's pulled from a real life situation of not just me, but different people that I know that experience the same thing. And it definitely came from a concept a friend of mine was telling me. I was going through something at the time, and he told me, he was like, no, don't ever text back. Like, if you're going through something with a female, don't never text back.
Not right away.
Put your phone down, let her hit you up, and, it'll all work out. And I'm like, nah, I'm going to write. I'm going to write, and I'm going to write, and I'm going to write.
No.
You know what I'm saying? And then, I went back and looked at my phone. I'm like, I wrote an entire paragraph, and they didn't even respond. So it's like, coming from that real life experience, it's like being vulnerable enough to admit that through music. Because sometimes, as an artist, you're challenged to feel like you have to write about a certain thing, or you have to write about what's going on at the time, and you're not vulnerable enough to express those feelings. So Paragraphs was definitely one of those situations to where I'm calling you, you're not answering, I'm emailing you, you're not responding back. So, all right, I'm gonna just write you an entire paragraph. You'll read it eventually. You'll read it, and then when you read it, we'll be good.
Right, right.
So I just like to pull from real life situations because I feel like that allows me to have longevity in music. Because I feel like there were times where I pursued what was going on at the moment. So if I look at the charts and I see an artist got a certain song out, and I'm like, all right, I need to make something similar to that. So I would
that's
always,
what's popular.
yeah. So I would always pull for that, and I realized that being around people that have, high influence over me would always say, yo, just be yourself, just be
Right.
yourself. And in my mind, it's like, nah, I gotta be what's going on right now.
Right.
Then eventually, I just started to understand that, you don't always have to pull from your experiences
Right.
through music. You can
Right.
pull from
Other
anybody's
people,
experience.
yeah.
Right.
And then once I adapted that mindset, it allowed me to, transform into a great writer and also to have my music reflect on me in a deeper way. So now when people hear songs from me, or even people that, I've, just let hear things that are going on musically with me, they always say, like, if you stay there, you'll have the longevity that you need, because you can't copy anybody. Everybody
Right.
would have to want to copy something.
Right.
So, and I'm cool with being the person that
You.
people copy,
Right.
rather than copying
Copy
people.
people.
Exactly.
Yeah,
No,
so-
absolutely.
You want to
yeah.
make music
Absolutely.
that people can relate to. So
Right.
you're
Yeah.
telling your real
Pers-
life experience.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, somebody done been through
They
it
definitely
too.
gonna relate
Yeah,
to
and it's
to
a downside to that as well. And I feel like a lot of people don't talk about that aspect of it. The downside of
Come on.
being so transparent
Vulnerable.
and being so vulnerable in your music can sometimes come off as dated or, not relevant to emotions that people actually feel.
Right.
So what I realized is I stayed current on what's going on with people and that's younger than me, or just situations, period. And I started to realize that at the end of the day, everybody is never going to tell you what they clearly, truly feel. They're
Right.
always going to disguise that in some kind of way. So at the end of the day, when you hear songs and you hear things like from like Stevie Wonder and all of those, Donny Hathaway and different people that have that transparency in their music, we're in a whole different time
Right.
frame.
It's
And
timeless.
you can
It's
still
timeless
play those
music.
records
Just
Yeah.
over and
Yeah.
over again. Let
Yeah.
me tell you.
Donny
Yeah.
Still play those
Hathaway is
records.
But
one
I-
of my
Yeah.
favorite. Donny Hathaway is by far my favorite
Absolutely.
singer of all time.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know the music today. I mean, I just can't see that being you know, when they get older,
Played.
being played over and
Yeah.
over
Yeah,
again.
yeah.
I mean,
Torque.
And
This
you
torque
have to
that
keep
wing
and you have to
plant.
keep that in mind. And you know, music is changing so fast, and
Yes,
the trend
it
is
is.
changing so fast.
Right.
Is that I'm so glad that I was surrounded by people. You know, even coming up under Eddie, a big inspiration to me with
Shout
him
out.
was always telling me to be myself.
Yeah.
Right.
No matter
See,
what.
R&B would never die, and either
No.
do hip like that's why old school hip hop. You know, if you listen to, you understand the words. Like nowadays, I mean, and the kids, they love it. You can talk about anything. That mic, that board, that
Bacon.
computer, and they be like,
Bacon.
Yeah.
they be in a
Bacon.
club like,
Yeah.
hey, you
Well,
know, I mean,
bacon.
yeah.
A lot of
yeah,
it-
exactly.
Bacon.
A lot of that is
Bacon.
a lot of that is, you know, it's some components that make up a song that are, you know, strictly melody based and some are production based. So at the end of the day, you know, in a game like this, you have to stay grounded on what you believe. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And also
Totally.
be able to translate those melodies and, you know, those cadences and whatnot into a new way for them to understand. And that's why I had to learn that the hard way. You know, so when I first released Paragraphs, I sat on Paragraphs for at least about 4 months,
Wow.
Right.
you know,
Wow.
before I put it out. And I kept going back and I kept listening to it and I kept listening to it and I was like, oh man, but it's not gonna fit, it's not gonna fit. And you know, that's a hindrance. So, you know, my advice to anybody that's in music and trying to do this, like I've been in it for a while and I'm you know, I'm just reaching my pinnacle of just
You see, you look
Yeah.
like you 12 though.
I
Like
know,
you talking about
right?
he been in it for a while.
yeah, I've
you
been
know.
in it for a while. I mean,
But-
you learn a lot, but at the
Right.
same time, you make a lot of mistakes as
Right.
well. So, you know, my advice to anybody is just be yourself in a way that can be transferable to what's going
Absolutely.
on now. Because you hear people that have great talent, and great abilities, but it will never translate to a younger audience because you know, they can't relate to, you know, the early 2000s and different
Right.
things like that. So
Right.
whenever you hear people like sampling and trying to recreate that vibe,
Right.
automatically 9 times out of 10, newer generations are going to go back and trying to figure out, hey, where did they get that from originally?
Right.
Now that's how the connection is made.
Exactly.
As opposed to feeling like you have to have this classic R&B
Big
sound
sound.
or classic hip hop sound. It's just meshing the two so that, you know, this generation can, you know,
Embrace
relate.
And
it, embrace it.
music,
You just dropped some
music-
jewels with that.
Yeah,
right
he
there.
sure
Yeah,
did. You know, music helps with so many different things. You know, people
Yeah.
in
Therapeutic.
depression,
It's
going through a
therapeutic.
breakup, whatever
Yeah.
situation is. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, music is such a healing.
Yeah.
You know, for a lot of people,
And I'll
it's
be
a
honest.
universal
You know, for
language.
me, I struggled with that for a long time, and I think you know, I'm in the process of building a community for music artists that deal with a lot of mental, you know, issues, because those are the things that are not highlighted in the game.
Right.
So I've felt the fear of being an artist for a long time
Wow.
because I always felt like people appreciated my talent as a singer, appreciated my talent as a writer, but could never connect the two. You know, so I always would be stuck in a writer
In
mode.
a
Like, all right, I
box,
just
in a
gotta stay
box.
behind the scenes. Nobody gotta see my face. I don't want to perform or anything. I'm gonna just write songs. You know, but then over time, I had to realize that hey, you have to let that light shine. So,
Right.
like you mentioned, you know, mental health is a big issue in the music industry right now.
Right.
And just with a lot of artists that I see that's coming up, or you know, different people that look at me as a mentor. You know, I like to have influence over success. So a lot of people come to me for influence, and mental health is definitely a big thing in music right now.
And
Right.
a lot of people
yeah.
don't talk about it.
They don't
so,
talk about it,
no.
and it's sad, you know. So even major platform artists go through the same thing.
Right.
So,
Absolutely.
it's definitely something that I personally would like to bring influence to over time as I start to progress, you know, on my journey. But yeah, music is healing in so many
Oh,
ways.
Awesome.
really is.
So tell us, but before we go into your song, I
No
want
More
you to
Lies.
introduce your song, "No More Lies." But before you do, tell
Okay.
everybody where they can find you.
And buy your
can
music.
You can
Buy
find
your
me,
music,
you know, on Instagram _officially Curtis. Facebook is either Curtis Scarbro or officially Curtis. Officially Curtis around all platforms for the most part. So
Okay.
yeah,
And y'all can buy his music.
yeah, and you could buy Paragraphs. It's still out. It's still on Spotify. But I'll be over the next month or two. I'll be releasing a lot more music that I've just been sitting on. But if you If you haven't heard Paragraphs and you want to go listen to it, it's still on SoundCloud, still on Spotify,
iTunes.
you know, iTunes, everywhere. So yeah, we about
Great.
to we about to
Awesome.
shake the world up.
Are
So-
you performing anywhere anytime soon?
Not yet. We're working on that.
Okay.
I think for the most part, that's something that's missing. So we're trying to get that into play with a lot of the music that's going to be released. But yeah, look forward to all of that
Well,
performances.
maybe
Yeah, so
in
when
November,
Philly Hot, yeah.
maybe in November when you have your y'all planning the next event.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we're gonna have him come and perform
Hey, let's do
along with
it.
it. Yeah, let's
I'll
do
be-
it.
I'll be back.
That's what it's about. We
Yeah.
networking, getting people out there. Just don't forget the little people when
Oh,
you
no,
know
not at all, not
you
at all.
become baby face.
Grassroots.
Yeah,
grassroots.
yeah.
So,
So-
introduce.
Go ahead.
Go.
No, tell 'em.
So introduce this EP that they're about to hear. No More Lies.
Okay,
Introduce
so you know, this is unreleased at the moment. I wanted to make this exclusive right here for Philly Hot
Exclusive,
Radio, real
exclusive,
recognized, real talk show. And this is my soon to come release single, No More Lies. Check me out, officially Curtis across all platforms. Let's get into it. No More Lies. Let's do it.
Y'all heard it first on the Real Recognized Real.
You ready? No more lies. No more lies. No more lies. Yes, no more lies.
Yeah,
No
yeah,
More
yeah.
Lies. Y'all heard
Thank
it
y'all,
first
thank
on
y'all.
the Real Recognized
That's
Real
love.
Talk Radio Show.
Thank
Oh,
y'all very
That
much.
was officially Curtis. No More Lies. Exclusive, y'all.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That was hot.
That
Thank
was
you very
hot.
much.
That was hot.
Thank you very
Thank you
much.
so much. We appreciate you. And we wish you all the
Oh,
luck in
thank
the
y'all
world.
for having me,
Yes.
man. I appreciate y'all.
No doubt. This is
Thank
your
you so
home. I
much.
tell everybody that come through that door, as you continue to achieve, Make sure you stop by Real Recognize Real. Let
Absolutely.
everybody
Let
know
us
what
know
you're
what you're
doing.
doing.
That's
Absolutely.
right.
And by
That's
the way,
right.
this is actually my very first radio interview in life.
Wow. Yeah.
This is a very big deal for me right now.
Awesome.
Good.
Awesome.
So,
we
it's
It's
appreciate
a
it.
big
Yeah.
deal for us
Yeah,
too.
I
Yeah.
thank y'all for having me. I
Yeah, no
appreciate
doubt,
it very
no
much.
doubt,
Yeah,
no doubt.
Thank
So
you for
who do we
coming.
have now? Oh my
Yeah,
God, we
yeah.
just going down the line. We got.
So next up is comedian Joshua, who has been performing stand-up comedy since 2007 under the pseudonym Josh. Oh Lord, they breaking stuff in the studio, like, throwing stuff at us.
That was Eric. That was,
So, under the pseudonym Josh Kosh. He appeared on national TV in 2016 and has performed with many major acts that includes Marlon Wayans and Tony Rock. In 2019, April that is, Josh encountered an experience that led him to dedicate his life back to Jesus Christ. And at that time, he abandoned his stage name Josh Kosh and adopted his birth name, comedian Joshua. Well, Joshua, not comedian Joshua. Y'all get it. He now goes by the name Comedian Joshua and continues to use his gift as a comedian to speak life into people and to bring as many people to the light of God. So welcome, Comedian Joshua, to the show.
welcome. Yes. Welcome, Josh. Woo!
I'm trying to go live for the first time. I think I did it
For the
right.
first time going live. You're going
I got a
live.
reason
Yeah,
to. I don't need to,
Did it work? You want me to ask you?
think so.
Can
I
I
got a
ask you the
viewer.
question? Oh, you got a view.
I got
All
a
right,
viewer.
that means it's working.
Ooh, you got
that
one.
means it's working.
You got
That's
one.
more than me.
Can we get two?
Sometimes-
Can we get two? Can we get two?
That's more. That's more. That's more
That's
than
probably
me.
me.
Sometimes I don't get nobody, but it's all right. Long as Jesus is watching,
You
that's
don't
all that
know.
matters. Okay.
Absolutely.
And he is.
Yes,
Exactly.
right.
So, do you mind talking a little bit about the experience that brought you back to Christ?
Absolutely. Long story, kind of short. I was out minding my business, living my life the way I wanted
Your
to do
best
it.
life?
And a messenger came and found me and told me some things that she shouldn't have known about my life and my path, my mission, the things that I had been doing, the things that I would be doing. And she prayed for me. I felt something leave my body, and I felt it replaced with a purpose.
Wow.
And that purpose has continued. It's been a couple months now. I'm going through a transition where I'm trying to figure out the gift that I have and how to use it to glorify God. So
Oh, awesome. Amen to that.
Now, do you stay connected with this person, or
I
was
haven't
just
spoke
an
to her
encounter? It
ever
was just an
since. I
encounter.
was invited to her church. Took my family and went to look for her at the church, and nobody knew her. So this is the second time something like that's happened. So
Mm.
Deep.
Yes,
deep.
that is
See,
deep.
and he will put people in place and
Yeah.
in position
That's
to
right.
give you messages that you need to hear when you need to hear it.
it was right on time.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like I asked for it too.
That's what I'm saying.
Just the day before, I had a situation where I had a young lady in my Uber car who was obviously going through a lot of terrible things. A small baby, bad baby father, nowhere to go, crying on the phone. And my previous self would have looked past all that because she was cute and tried to
Right.
see how I could help her. you
Right,
know?
Play on her vulnerabilities,
Right.
you know.
But my spirit told me, and it was loud, it was like, tell her to go to church. And I told her that, and she stopped crying, and she said she was Muslim, but she said she had been feeling like going to church. And I never talked to her again after that, but the following day is when I had my interaction,
Encounter.
which I feel like I opened myself up to by speaking to this young lady in a different way. So, I don't tell everybody that, but
Right.
that's the preamble to the whole story.
Divine intervention.
Wow.
Divine intervention. So, what inspired you to be a comedian?
Oh man, there's never been a particular inspiration. There was a instance similar to the one I just explained to you, where I was a waiter at a restaurant, and I waited on a table, a couple people, man and woman, who just imparted to me when we were done that the way I talked and the things that I said, I sounded like a comedian had I ever thought about it. And just so happened I had thought about it, and in the moment that I went to go try it, I got myself into trouble. which took me away from the opportunity to go and try it. So coming back to the world and going back to work and running into this person, told me his name was Flash. And he was a comedian.
Flash.
Exactly. Yeah, like these stories, I swear.
Right.
You know, I got to be doing the right thing, you know?
Well, there is a Flash.
Man.
You talking about Flash from
Well,
Five
it's
Heartbeats?
not that Flash. No, he's just funny looking. This dude, I really wouldn't even remember what he looked like. He told me where to go, which happened to be the Laugh House. Stepped foot in there in 2007, and haven't looked back since.
Wow.
And there's been doors open. There's been revelations in life. There's been additions to my life. Just all through getting on that stage one day and figuring out that, you know, where I used to think people were laughing at me in life, I realized that they were laughing because of me.
Right.
And I just needed to not be so insecure about it and figure it out and how to, you know, just be who I am,
Right.
like you said. You know?
That's right.
Absolutely.
Being who you are.
Right.
Yeah, I don't really have any influences other than Chris Rock. You know, he speaks real information to people packaged as ignorance.
Right.
And it's skillfully
Like Richard
done.
Pryor.
Yeah.
Like Richard Pryor.
Yeah, exactly.
Richard Pryor was a
I
whole
love
lot of
Richard
ignorance,
Pryor.
but you know there were things in there because his brand of comedy was so new at the time.
Right.
You know, now comedy's evolved so many different generations that what he was doing now probably wouldn't be laughed at the way
That's
comedy
true.
is done now.
That's
Right.
true.
So if you're going out there trying to do Richard Pryor, you're going to be sadly
Put off the stage.
You might be, you know.
So I need to see some funny though. Like, so are you funny?
When people laughing, I mean, that's the judgment. I can say I'm funny all day. If you ain't laughing, the wall is funny.
Right.
So that's why the
We
tie into that, like comedy is not. We talked to another comedian. We talked about how comedy is not an easy job because it's not always easy to make everybody laugh.
It
Like
sure isn't.
people have different personalities, different things they go through depending on what time of the month it is or what's going on in people's life. Some things might not be funny at the time. So how do you hone in on your craft to what is your process?
Well, what I discovered after a few years of doing is that, you know, number one, my spirit had to be right. And my spirit wasn't always right. You know, at one point I was mean, you know, the way that I was before comedy when people, you know, were getting into a back and forth. And, you know, that just doesn't.
The dozens. You
The
was a
dozens.
dozen. You
I'm
was
a
a
dozen.
dozen.
I'm maybe, you know, a baker's dozen. I throw extra one in on you.
I don't get that joke, but okay.
You was waiting to say
Never heard of
that.
the dozen?
No.
Oh,
Where you
where
grew?
you from?
Dozen. from?
What dozen?
The dozen.
From
Dozen
Australia.
is that- Y'all heard of the dozen?
So that's 13
No.
for the
Oh,
dum-dums.
I told my age on that one.
Girl, we older than you.
The dozens is when you bust on somebody, like it's
Bussin'?
the same thing as bussing.
Okay, we said
the
we said bussin'. Yeah. We just said
She
bussin'.
about to catch 4 of them right now. But just
How do you hone in your craft?
honing on the craft is just paying attention to life. You know, I think that I make people laugh in real life more than when I'm trying on stage.
Right.
Honing
That's what I
in
hear.
is finding those instances where something was funny naturally,
Right.
and then exaggerating. You know, every joke is a bit of truth, a bit of exaggeration, and then a surprise. So my comedy went from being, you know, about boogies and private parts in the beginning, you know, to I ran into a mentor who looked at who I was and told me that I'm not that kind of comic. You know, he told me at the time, do cute jokes. I didn't get it, but watching a lot of veterans and figuring out, all right, you got your goofies, and then you got your word comedians. You know, I've learned to kind of balance it on stage. You know, where you gotta entertain us black people, we gotta be entertained. You know,
Like
but
this, too.
yeah, exactly like that.
Absolutely, because our face would tell it all. We sit there. For anybody that has to be on stage, it's just really difficult. From preachers to speakers to performers, it's just you know you look out in that audience and people's faces be like,
That's why.
and it just
Right. Yeah.
you know it just you know it messes you up.
That's
you
where
know?
your performance and your personality comes into play.
Right.
Like I'm a serious cat. I'm a serious dude.
I see
Right.
this.
But-
We waiting for
I
you
know.
to
I need a
break down
joke.
that
I know. I
because,
need, like,
because I'm not
that's
on
why-
stage. You
Right.
see,
But-
when I'm on stage,
but-
it's an
But
exaggeration.
pretend like you're on stage
see.
right now. And I need.
I'm on stage with 5 other people looking at me, going, "Tell me a joke."
I need you. Listen, me
I'm a
and E-Way
comedian,
over
not an
here, we put
on-demand clown.
I like that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, see, that was funny.
That was funny. Oh, see, I wasn't trying to tell you a joke.
Wow. Okay, that's what I'm saying. We can't say we got a comedian and nobody laugh. We need some.
But y'all been laughing the whole damn time since we walked in here. Before anybody was talking, when y'all was messing up the music and looking for hood news. All you gotta do is go look on No Gun Zone. Y'all
Right.
are confused.
Exactly.
Now they trying to get me in my person. I got 3 viewers since I snapped out.
So you snapped out.
But I'm not a goofball.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you can be a comedian because
Right.
you're being clever. You're
Right.
telling people word plays and surprising them. Like I'll tell you a quick one, and it's simply facts, exaggeration, and surprise. Right? All right. For instance, my son, he's a smart guy. 9 years old. He's one of the computer smart kids. Right? I put him on the computer to look at trains for 20 minutes. When I came back, he had an associate degree from DeVry. Facts, exaggeration, surprise. Now you're laughing, and I didn't even have to. I didn't do none of that. I hit you with a word pattern.
Right,
you know,
right,
so that's
right.
the way my brain works.
Okay.
So when I run into suspicious people who don't think you funny because you don't be funny all the damn time. You see what I'm looking at, right? I don't have nothing to prove. You know, I do what I do, and currently my inspiration to make people laugh is for the glory of God. So.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
Amen to
So
that.
are you working on any current projects or upcoming projects or shows?
I am. That's going to be, it could be a long answer, short answer. I'm also an actor. Through comedy, some doors open to give me an opportunity to delve into that, and I found out that drama is actually a semi-strength of mine as well. So been in some short films, some plays recently with your friend Sky. We had a good time doing that. I produce my own videos.
Okay.
So I do, 1 to 5 minute sketches, try to make them TV quality. The camera doesn't always agree, but they out there.
Where?
Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, my website.
Okay.
Just sitcom style productions with my brand of humor, and I work with a couple of cats who are funny as well. Chris Cotton from Comedy Central, a few others.
So how can people
Find
follow you
Yeah.
and find out more about what it is that you're doing, your upcoming project?
Okay, so I want to mention the upcoming project this Saturday. I'm on a show, One Art Community Center, 1431 North 52nd Street.
Okay.
It's a show to benefit the youth. To be probably 30 artists. Music versus Poetry 2.eventbrite.com is where you can go get tickets.
Okay.
Me personally, I'm at www.comedianjoshua.com or on Instagram at Comedian Joshua or on Facebook /I am Comedian Joshua.
Okay.
So I'm
Awesome.
very reachable. If you want to speak with me, I go back and forth. I don't do the DMs too much.
Don't slide into
Let's
his
have our
Right,
conversations out in
conversations.
public.
But
you
yeah, I know that's
married
right.
man here, just keep it simple.
Well, thank you so much
Thank
for
you
coming
so
to the Real Recognized Real Show and
Yes.
sharing your story, because that was just truly amazing, to have someone, bring out those gifts from God, that you can now share with other people. I mean, a lot of people might not believe that story, because they don't think things like that exist. But
Miracles.
God is real.
It does.
And yeah,
And
he's
he
real.
and he pulls people.
Yes,
you
he
know?
does,
Like
all day.
I've always had a protection over me, even when I was walking in the world doing crazy stuff.
Right.
I'm still here.
Right.
And I understand why.
Right.
But there's always been instances where I've been pointed in the right direction or pulled from the wrong direction.
Right.
And saved from things.
Yes.
So I got a purpose
So you
here.
have
And it's
a
just
purpose.
about
Yeah,
using it.
Yes, you do. Always. So thanks again. So we're
Thank
going to
you.
go right into our next guest.
Okay.
Okay.
Let me get my script ready.
That's right. These introductions are all that, ain't they, y'all? I mean, come on.
All right, so our next guest is Charmaine. I was looking for her last name, Serrano.
Yes.
Charmaine Serrano is an awareness ambassador for JFMJ, y'all. She is an entrepreneur in the beauty, health, and wellness industry. She is also a wife, mother of 2 adult children, and grandmother of 3. She has been involved in the network marketing direct sales industry for over 25 years. She loves this profession because it challenged her to grow personally as well as professionally. It gives her control of her time and her income. Charmaine is an awareness ambassador, again, for Justice for My Jewel awareness campaign. That entails informing both teens and women globally with our platform that educates females on the importance of having a healthy menstrual cycle. Okay. Her background is sales, etiquette training, and personal development presentations. She is drawn to have a passion for helping charitable organizations and local churches, such as the Child Fund, St. Jude's, WWITS, and I Am Grace. Her hobbies and interests are reading, traveling, and being a mentor to young girls. Her passion in life is to see women reach their full potential. So that was a pattern here today for our
Yes, it
female
is.
guests.
That's
As
right.
wives, as mothers, as entrepreneurs. She wants to see all women look and feel their best. Life is a journey, and on this journey, we must learn to grow. She believes that growth comes when you step outside of yourself. Yes, when you look to see who you are and who you can help. And that is what she believes attracts her to becoming the awareness ambassador for JFMJ. She has a strong belief that when, I'm sorry because I'm reading somebody else's writing, I'm trying to figure out what it says. It's a very tiny print. She has a strong belief that when she puts her faith in God first, family second, and entrepreneurship third, it provides her a harmonious life with a deep sense of peace. This sense of peace draws others to her and provides an avenue to help others continue to learn, grow, and reach healthy lifestyles as well. So welcome,
Yes,
Charmaine
welcome.
Serrano. That was a
Thank
mouthful.
you. Thank you so much. Yes.
Welcome.
I'm excited to be here.
So tell us a little bit about JMFJ.
Okay. So-
JFMJ.
Yes. Justice for My Jewel. That is an awareness campaign, and we are, like you mentioned, educating women, young girls, and men. We saw that. We heard that comment earlier, right? About menstrual health. Women and young girls have been suffering for years because of toxicities that are found in the current products available to them. And once this awareness is brought out, we believe we can change that. We can change this this harmful effect that it's having, because most of the female issues that women face can be traced right back to the very product we use on a monthly basis. So we have an awareness campaign, and we are educating people in events. We have 5K runs. We are working with other organizations to bring this awareness. Schools, churches, like you mentioned, I love, being able to bring this awareness to the surface, because it's been a taboo subject for so long.
Absolutely.
And the funny part about it is our company was founded by a man.
Okay.
And his
Probably
name
a single father.
No, he's not. He's a husband and a father. That when he found out what was happening to the women, he immediately thought of his wife and his 3 daughters.
Absolutely.
And that, that was the beginning of it all. When he saw that we were actually being filled with toxins over a period of time. You see, when things are introduced to your body slowly, like month after month, year after year, you don't feel things immediately happening.
Right.
You don't feel the detriment that's taking place.
Right.
But now that we're becoming aware of it, we can actually show back where these illnesses,
coming from.
Right.
like heavy bleeding, severe cramping, migraines, nausea. You see, when I heard about this campaign, and I heard about this campaign, I immediately thought of my daughter. My daughter is a high school math teacher. She would miss 2 days of work every month.
Wow. Right.
Always like, Daddy, I need my migraine medicine.
Right.
You know, going to the doctors. And then as I continued on this path, I realized that I remembered hearing my husband tell my children, this is the week you don't go near your mom. It was a big joke. This is the week she can get away with murder, and the judge would say, not guilty due to temporary insanity. Right? But then my heart broke, because for a week out of every month, for most of my children's lives, I was missing.
Right.
And I didn't want that to have to happen for someone else.
Right.
So our goal is to actually change that for the next generation.
Right.
You see, not only do we have an awareness campaign, but we actually have an amazing new product that is going to change that, because it's chemical free, without the toxins, and women are experiencing things that I could never think of. Like, I actually had my father coming to school to pick me up when I was in middle school.
Right.
And so now we have young girls that say, oh, Grandma, it feels like I'm just wearing panties.
Wow. Okay. Right, because you know the taboo of first and foremost.
Sorry, fellas.
No, this is good. No, this is important. It is definitely. Now for wives, girlfriends,
your girlfriends, your daughters,
whatever.
yes.
Yes.
Listen, I'm completely intrigued.
Yeah.
I need to know what show is on.
And that's what we were taught.
Right.
Go to the store, look for the blue box, and pick that up.
Right.
We never thought about what's in that blue box.
Right. Right.
Well, now we know what's in that blue box.
Yeah.
Okay. And those products, those chemicals, are it's crazy that we live in a country like the United States of America, where they allow toxic chemicals to be placed in a product that is in the most precious area of a woman's body.
Right.
You mentioned Jewel earlier. That's the name of our product.
Right.
I was like, okay, so he was dropping some jewels.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, I'm gonna drop some jewels too. Okay, because it's serious.
Yes.
It's a serious
Absolutely.
mission, and and it just gratifies me to see women and young girls being able to have a different experience.
Right.
Not mentally preparing.
Right.
Because our young girls go to school mentally preparing.
Right.
Am I going to leak? Is it going to show?
Exactly.
Am I going to smell?
Exactly.
All of those things. But our amazing product eliminates that.
Wow.
You see, we have a brand new technology called graphene, and everyone should Google it, because it won the Nobel Prize in 2010 for the health benefits that it's going to bring to the world.
Wow.
And we're the only sanitary product in North America that actually have a graphene infused strip.
Did you bring anything with you?
Oh, well, I did, girl. I don't leave home without it. Wait a minute. And I don't leave home without it. And the other thing is that our product actually pulls moisture away from the surface of the pad, so you stay dry and comfortable.
See,
entire
where was
time.
all this at when we was?
Yes, that's what I
Listen.
did. Go ahead.
So with the product, like a lot of teenagers, when they experience their menstrual cycle, it's uncomfortable for the woman, for the young teenage girl, I should say, because her body's now changing and she doesn't know, okay, what is this that I'm feeling? What is this that I'm experiencing? So not only do they need to be educated on the product, but they have to also be educated on what am I going through emotionally? Like, what am I dealing with physically?
Right.
So it's a whole lot.
And that's the thing. And that's why it's so important to have these conversations.
Absolutely.
Right. Because it's not a taboo it's not
Exactly.
a taboo situation.
It's nature.
It's nature.
It is
a
nature.
natural
Life.
I mean, this is where life comes.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely.
Without a woman's womb.
Hello.
Hello.
would
Life.
Hello.
Life, man.
And
Listen.
Picture of these dumb faces.
it's important.
I don't want to
really
think too much
is.
about what happens.
We can laugh laugh about this,
Right.
but let me tell you, it's
Deep.
funny, you know, because there are more men in my company than women.
Yeah, I believe
And
it.
the men are, you know,
Good
more of the
morning.
top earners
Uh-huh.
or, you know, just awareness ambassadors
Right.
than women.
Right.
And it's because, you know, as a man,
Man, they interested. They,
they-
want to
yeah,
make
they
sure
wanna
you
protect.
straight. That's
Yeah.
right.
They want to
Right.
protect. They, you know, they want to make sure that their wives and their daughters are protected.
That's right.
And so now they can.
Right.
And that's what I love about it because, you know, a lot of awareness campaigns bring awareness. That's
Right.
what they do.
Right.
But they don't necessarily address the issue.
Right.
Right.
Absolutely.
And so we were able to do that
Right.
with our product.
Product.
So yes, I'm gonna just slide this little one out right here. It's amazing. You can,
Oh
look at
my,
that,
that's-
ladies. Look
Is
at
that one? Is
No,
that okay?
this
Good.
This is a pack of 10.
I'm like, wait a
And
minute.
isn't
that
this
thing is
cute?
kinda big.
It's cute looking.
It's
I know it is a
cute, right?
nice package.
I
Nice
wouldn't be embarrassed to buy
And
that.
is
at
this
all.
right?
Yeah.
Is this for heavy? Like what?
No, that's a moderate.
Yeah.
That's a
Moderate,
moderate
okay, but it's a flow, okay.
I'm gonna- let's
have
let me
different,
let you
yeah,
see
keep 'em
it.
on there.
Yes, we have different ones actually.
Okay.
I did bring. This is our.
Yes.
This is.
Oh,
This
that's
is,
like
we
a
have
gift.
4
Nice.
collections, right? Because again, when women are being
Yeah.
introduced to something new, you don't know how their flow is, how their,
Right,
you know,
whether
how
they
it's going
light
to
or
be.
Listen, this
But-
would be wonderful gifts,
Check
Christmas
this out.
gifts for your lady friends,
Super
cousins.
absorbent.
Honestly,
That's
the most intriguing
super
thing
absorbent.
I can say that I've heard in years.
Yes.
Because
You wouldn't be insulted if you made
Absolutely.
some sanitary.
No,
Oh,
not
no,
at
honey.
all.
Say that
Not
again. What do you
especially
do?
when you tell her that it's to protect her, that it's no chemicals. Like, baby, listen.
That's my thing too.
Operator room, she like, what you trying to say?
Yeah, I
Just
know.
rub
That's
your
all.
hand across the top
Nice.
of it.
They have instruction manual.
So now that is the light. That is the lighter.
That is a moderate
Not-
flow. That's
moderate
a moderate flow.
I do have a question.
And that's the
This-
graphene
he has a
strip.
question,
You have a
yes.
question, please ask.
So you mentioned, you know, the toxins and different things that build up in the body from that particular using different products.
Like
so yeah,
tampons
so
and
over time, is the excessive pain, is the toxins in contribution to that solely, or is it so many other components that you have to take into consideration?
Well, the toxins in this product, one of the main concerns is there's a toxin called dioxin.
Okay.
Dioxin is a carcinogenic. It causes cancer.
Cancer.
Oh.
So why would that be in our name?
Right.
Wow.
And they
And
make
the-
it seem like, oh well,
It-
it doesn't release unless you leave it up. I'm sorry, I'm getting ready to get real graphic.
That's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Unless you leave it in there for a long time, then it can cause toxic shock syndrome and so
Exactly.
on and so forth. But yeah,
Well, let
so
them tell that to
enlighten-
the supermodel that lost both her legs to the
See?
toxic shock syndrome.
Exactly.
Let them tell that to the mother whose daughter went on her high school trip to Canada and didn't come home because her tampon was left in her.
Yikes.
And she didn't wake up the next day.
Wow.
You know?
Right.
And yes, those toxins, which happens with, especially with the tampons, is
Right.
that it backs up the
Into the
bacteria. The body is
system.
warm.
Right.
It's dark. It's moist. It's the perfect environment.
Breeding ground.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Wow.
And so they just fester and they just back up.
Right.
And you know, because a woman feels like she's so comfortable, she doesn't even, change it.
Right.
And that's a problem. So
Yes.
it backs up into the bloodstream, and that's where toxic shock syndrome takes
Right.
place.
Right.
So
Now, what
um,
about regular sanitary napkins?
Well, they're actually made from inferior materials. So the inferior materials that they're made of is like landfill. So then they have to take it through a process, a bleaching process.
Wow.
And in that bleaching process, that's where all the chemicals are used.
Right.
Chlorine, formaldehyde, which is embalming
One
fluid.
to eat on now.
Lord, let me tell you.
I'm about to
So-
put one on.
I'm gonna just do a little test here, if that's okay.
Okay. Oh yeah. Go
Okay,
ahead.
so we
Wait,
already
Naya,
felt
Naya, where you
how
got the camera,
soft this
Wait,
was,
yeah,
right?
wait,
Camera,
wait.
you on the camera?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait.
Okay.
Wait. I need. Okay.
Wait,
You-
now
she's
wait.
testing out the porousness of.
A woman's
Now, this
feminine
is
flow
a
is about
feminine-
15 to 50 milliliters a day. Okay? So you saw this was for full bottle,
Yes,
right?
I did.
So I poured about 50 milliliters onto it. And so our top is soft cotton, and you felt how soft it was.
Yes.
Cotton is naturally soft, naturally white.
Right.
Then we have these guards. You see these little guards here?
Yes.
They're 3D leak guards. So nothing is coming out of the center, which is a Palmer absorbency system. The absorbency system is wrapped in air-laid paper, okay? And that air-laid
there's
paper
wings
keeps it from
as
reverting back to the surface. So now that you've seen that, see me pour this water on the napkin, I'm going to ask.
And look, there's
Since-
nothing
since
on the
you're right
table.
there.
There's nothing
okay.
on the table.
Could you just press down?
Press down on that.
It's really like as hard as you can. Like, I just poured 50 milliliters on this
Look,
napkin.
it's not even wet.
And there is absolutely.
It was a little bit,
and this
but
was on the
still.
side. It's
Wow.
Right.
And that, and look,
Wow,
feel
that's
that. Does it
impressive.
feel wet?
That is impressive.
Yes.
Okay, now y'all felt it before,
That is
so
impressive.
see if you think
Oh,
it's
wow.
wet.
That's impressive.
Well,
I didn't need
you
to. I
can-
can
And you can
imagine.
see, you can
You can
tell
tell
that it's
that
in
it's in
there,
there.
Right.
like a baby pamper. You can, like it's
Right.
in there, but you know, you can.
So the graphene
this
You feel the
technology
heaviness a little
actually
bit.
helps with
You know what I
hormone
mean?
secretion.
But you got what?
And that's a benefit, helps with hormone secretion. It helps to reduce inflammation, so there's no cramping. It's
Wow.
reduced.
Wow.
It kills 99.9% of the bad bacteria, so that's what causes the odor, so that's eliminated.
Right.
It also helps with your pH balance. You know those mood
Yes,
swings?
yes.
It's like women
It's
don't
like
like
heaven.
Heaven's right here in the pan.
Yes, you all
I
know.
have my
Heaven's jewels.
Yes.
Yes, my customers are now, they have to ask their daughters, like, did you have your cycle? Because, you know, normally it's like,
Yeah, right.
and it's like nothing. It's peace.
Yes.
So, you know, it's peace.
Right.
And that's a beautiful
That's
thing,
It
right?
awesome.
really is.
So it's so many health benefits to graphene.
Listen, people, y'all
This
better
product-
get
this
this
product.
product.
Is called
And
Ladies.
It's called Jewels.
Yes, it's the art
Our-
of intimates.
Our campaign is justice for my jewel. You see, we're going to
Justice for my
Yeah.
jewels.
It's
So
time-
is
you-
this product on the market? Can people buy it? Where can they buy
Okay,
this?
well, our product is, this is a home-based business.
Okay.
And so people can purchase from distributors,
Okay.
and we have websites.
Okay.
So my website is iCBeautyInYou.com,
I see
which
beauty
is I, the letter
in
C, beauty, and IN, then the letter U.com. But I would love for them to go get more information about the campaign at jfmj.org. That's our corporate website, and that's where they can learn
JFMJ.
how, you know, what we're doing, you know, what we're planning, and how to become a part of it.
Okay.
Because this is something that one person can't do. It's going to
Absolutely.
take
Right.
thousands of us to get this word out.
Right.
And I believe that one woman could lead you to 1,000.
Right.
Okay.
There you go.
Absolutely.
And so
and
here
it's
I
so
am.
it's such a needed product. It's like okay
Every month.
Right.
every month.
40 years.
40 years. I know.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's like some of us are
Every
in
month
at
for
the
40
end.
years.
And wouldn't this have been a wonderful thing?
Oh my
Yes.
goodness. You know, definitely for me because
Oh,
Come on, this is real, recognized real. So come on.
where's that hood news at?
Talking about the
Hood news at?
Oh, you want hood news now? Just in hood news.
You're a married man. You should know what have compassion, and now you can
So, as
understand
far
why
as-
your
I got
wife.
it easy though, because her contraceptive erases like 90% of all that anyway. So I don't-
Yeah, and that's
I
another-
just know by
That's another thing.
motions.
right.
You know, because I come across that all the time. Oh, I don't get a cycle. I'm like, what do you mean you don't get a cycle?
Yeah,
it's a natural,
what do you
It's a
mean?
natural part of life. Something.
Yeah,
you
I
know,
still get a cycle being on contraceptive. What are they
what
putting
we
in it
used
now?
to- Oh, yes.
Put one
Now.
in you now that just cut
Oh,
it
it goes off
But then-
for a
but
while.
that's-
And that's not good.
another-
No,
That's
a
not-
backup.
that's
of
a
all the
backup.
things that the
That's
body was
another
supposed
show.
to
To release.
Yeah. Yes.
It's a monthly cleansing for.
Yes.
Y'all not gonna make me leave this. Girl.
No.
I don't care what's in there.
Better tell, take it out and get us some of these.
Because you know, so many young girls. That's why a lot of the young girls went to tampons. Like my daughter was a tampon user, and you know,
Yeah,
she was like,
I
"No, I don't like
can't
pads.
do
I don't like
tampons.
pads. I don't like pads." My husband was like, "You gonna try your mother's product?"
Exactly.
She believes in it, okay?
Right.
And she had to come to me and say, "You're right.
Right.
I didn't feel it.
No,
I-
absolutely.
I felt like I had no cramps. She was a migraine. Like I said, she missed 2 days of work. For migraines, nausea, heavy bleeding, and cramping.
I know
Now-
people that lay it on at work. They lay on the floor in the bathroom.
My
They cramp.
sister-
They in
well,
pain
honey,
so
My
much.
sister really
This is-
had
this is- yeah.
a rough time. And
Yes.
so did my cousin, and they had fibroids.
And they
So,
got poison in the pad.
and the tampons
In the
particularly. Yeah.
All of them are
And
made from the same
from the
landfills
material.
and go through the same bleaching process.
So price point.
But wow, isn't that amazing, right? This product,
Y'all gotta
most
make
women
coffee.
don't use a whole package in a cycle, because one, we don't have the formaldehyde drawing more blood out of your body, so you don't need as many.
Right.
Two, because you can stay dry and comfortable all day, so a woman could literally put this on in the morning and come home and change. Think
So
about that.
what's the price point? The price-
Okay, so online these products sell for $6.
That's not
Each.
bad. That's not bad.
$6
Hey.
each. So you get 30 panty
Okay.
liners, which is for a woman like myself. You were talking about her age. I was
Right.
like, look, I'm like, I'm older than everybody in this room. And you know, so 30 panty liners for women. I mean, every woman for every stage, like now, as women get older, their bladders are changing.
Right.
They're not as strong as they used to be
Big,
in
right.
their positioning. So they laugh, they leak, they sneeze.
Exactly.
to the bathroom.
From
Okay.
birth, from having
You-
babies, and
yes.
you just now,
Yes.
yeah.
You have to run, to the restroom. So now, they can have something that keeps them dry and comfortable. They don't have to think about whether it's smelling, because the graphene technology, y'all better Google it.
That's
because
right.
You want to hear it more and more, because it's getting ready to replace a lot of
So
things.
do you
in the
have
GRAFIN.
for Christmas? This is good Christmas gifts. I'm telling you.
Yes, it is.
I mean, because it's every level. If you guys don't know,
I bookmarked
it's
it
every
already.
level.
Oh,
Okay, it's every level of this whole menstrual thing each month.
Light to
It's-
moderate to
yes,
heavy.
Yes, from no, it's from heavy to moderate to
Oh,
light.
right. Yeah.
That's how the
That's
In
how
that order.
That's
In
how
that
it's like,
order.
yeah, that's how it
In
flow
that
in that
order.
order. Right.
You got the wings,
Yeah.
the wide wings.
We got
wings
it,
and then
everything.
I know something.
Jewel,
Super
premium sanitary napkins.
Yes,
Jewelry.
yes, I'm a
Jewelry.
believer. I'm definitely
I
a
am
believer.
too.
I have
What'd you say?
coupons.
Yeah, coupons.
Online order, you
Let me-
get 10% off.
Let me tell you, this product is literally changing
want
women's
10%
lives. I
off.
have a woman that I serviced the Fort Dix base, because that was my charge. I said, Lord, get me on the base, because these women service our country,
Yes.
and I want to protect their jewel. Okay,
Right.
so I serviced these women, and this one woman, she had a 14-day cycle.
Wow.
14 days.
God bless them.
Heavy. When she met me, 4 days now.
Oh.
I gave her 10 days of her life back.
Yes.
Do she love me?
Yes, she
Of
loves
course
you.
she does.
Yes,
You
she.
should give
Yes.
residuals.
Another young lady I met, she had a 7-day cycle, and she was on her way to a hysterectomy. There are 600,000 hysterectomies performed in the United States on a yearly average.
Right.
Yeah, way
I
too
know.
many.
Way too many. We've met a girl as young as 16.
Wow.
When I was coming up, if you didn't have 2 children and a husband, they weren't asking you about. They weren't. They would. That wasn't an option.
And
Right.
now they're trying to eliminate them because they saying it's too many. So now they're trying to say you got to go through this and this and this and this and this before they would even.
This is
Right.
so. This is just amazing, and
We
you
can go
know,
on
yes, we
forever
could go on
talking about
forever.
this,
We
but-
are already 20 minutes over our time, but I definitely you gave everybody your website and
Yes.
your okay, and definitely gonna put it on our site.
I'm definitely
Um,
gonna become a client.
yes,
or a buyer
absolutely.
rather.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, for me, for my girls. But thank you guys so much
Yes,
for coming
thank you
in.
to all of our
We're-
guests.
Yes, everybody
Thank
just
you,
awesome from music to jewels to comedy. Like you guys, just keep doing what you're doing. Don't
Yes.
stop. Even when doors close, keep knocking.
Yeah.
And we're here for you. As much as we can do, we are definitely here for you throughout your whole journey to reach the top. So thank you once again for being on the Real Recognized Real Show. And thank you,
Thank you, Eric.
Eric,
Thank
who's
you,
in the
Naya.
building, who stayed, who's the owner of Philly Hot Radio. Naya, who's our intern, who's always on the boards, always Johnny on spots, flipping back and forth from guest to us, from guest to us. And then we also, come on over here, we got a white boy in the house. Come on over here so he can see
see you on the camera.
This is a,
I'm Puerto Rican.
keep it real. Keep it real. Keep it real. Archangel.
This is Archangel. Wave to everybody, Archangel. Come on over this side.
This
Here.
is the
There you
live
go.
one. There
This
you
is,
go.
he's our new intern that's going to be also helping us out with different events and on the board. So we appreciate him. But once again, we thank you guys, and we'll see you next.
Every second
Texas
Tuesday
Tuesday
of
of
the
the
month
month.
at 7. Make sure y'all tune in.
That's
And happy
right.
birthday, Sean.
All right. Peace, y'all.
Peace
We
out.
out. Real recognize real. Philly Hot Radio.